Hello everyone and oops, welcome to a new video. Thank you so much for being here. Today we'll be working on a Brazilian pony, the first Brazilian pony of the channel. And this is another restoration for a subscriber. This pony belongs to Valentin. I met Valentin at the last PonyCon and he forgave me for not responding to his email sooner. And the letter says, "Hi Yisela, it was so amazing meeting you at UK PonyCon." Same. Thank you so much for taking on my Brazilian baby Gusty. You are allowed to do everything needed on it, maybe even better hair as it's very worn. And the back has a beautiful hula hula pony, I think it is. Another present. You don't need to send me anything when I do a pony for you. Please don't worry. But thank you so much, Valentin. I love the earrings and the keychain. Oh my. The earrings are actually Cutisaurus, which is from the same family as Chacha de Lama that I am obsessed about. So thank you. And let's see what the pony looks like. Oh, look at this beautiful Gusty baby. This is a Brazilian pony. I will tell you a little bit more about the company that made this in Brazil. They're like the Hasbro associate. But let's take a look at what we need to do here. Luckily, Valentin doesn't mind a rehair, so I think we're gonna do a complete rehair. We need to patch some of the holes, repaint the symbols, retouch the eyes a little bit. Also, I'm just realizing I'm calling him Valentin, very Latin American pronunciation. I hope that is okay. So, let's get started. The first thing we need to do is remove the existing hair to prepare the pony for cleaning. And I also want to see what these little patches on the holes are made of, because they were coming off a little bit. So let's get the giant scissors while we prepare. Let me tell you a little bit about today's sponsor, which is once again Skillshare. I have actually been using Skillshare for a while now, and if you haven't heard of it, it's a platform with thousands of online classes covering all sorts of topics from digital illustration and animation to different crafts, productivity and marketing. As I mentioned in my last restoration video, all the skills I use here and actually at work are self-taught. It was these skills that allow me to make a living after I left academia. I'm sort of a startup of one now, and Skillshare has a lot of tools that help me keep up to date and learn new things. Two courses I have been taking are advanced video editing and YouTube script shoot and edit. And of course, I'm still taking the creative writing one because yes, I will publish my novel someday. So if you also want to learn something new or improve your existing skills, you can try Skillshare. If you use the code in the description, you will actually get 1 month for free. And during that month, you can watch as many classes as you like. Oh, and since we are in the holiday season at the time of recording this, you can also gift a membership to others. If you're looking for ideas, that's a great one. So thank you so much, Skillshare, for sponsoring this video and for allowing me to do this type of restorations. So now let's go back to our little baby Gusty. So we were doing giant scissors. Let's take out the tiny scissors too. Late warning, the head is coming off. The sound. How satisfying is that? I hope you can hear me well. John is in a meeting and I'm wrapped in the most gigantic, noisy blanket, but it's so cold. Hopefully the audio is okay. So let's talk about the factory that made the ponies in Brazil. Oh, here you can see how the original tail was held in place. It is rusty, and this is a type of rust that is very difficult to remove, so we're going to rehair. Actually, it's not the rust that is difficult. The rust is always difficult to remove. What I wanted to say is that when you have this type of like emerald hair, that you can see the original color sort of in the part that was inside the pony. Sorry, I'm a bit all over the place. And you use things like toothpaste, for example, to remove the rust, then you also remove some of the color. It has like a bleaching effect. So I emailed Valentin just in case to ask him whether I should do a complete rehair, and he said yes, go for it. So that's what we're going to do today. But back to the factory. I am not entirely sure about the pronunciation. I think it will be Estrela. You can see it written here. So the Estrela toy factory was, as I said, kind of the partner that made the ponies for Brazil. Normally in this channel we have Argentinian ponies that were made by Top Toys. In this case, yeah, Brazil, Estrela. You can see the stamps in the feet of the ponies. And Estrela made Earth ponies and Pegasi, no unicorn. There were 8 series. I recommend you take a look at the My Little Wiki. This is the resource I use for all the pony information I share here. And oh, I want to tell you about something. I know this is a very chaotic audio recording, but I have the idea for the first documentary about ponies that we're going to have in the channel, and it will be about the Argentinian ponies, the Top Toy ones, because I have the best resource. A group of Argentinian fans, My Little Pony fans, have created an incredible book, an incredible resource for free. It's a PDF with like 50 pages and it has so much information and pictures. So the first mini documentary is going to be about that. But let's go back to what was I saying? My Little Wiki. My Little Wiki, excellent resource, also free, online. And you can see all the ponies that Estrela made and compare them to the ones that were made in Hong Kong, which are the ones that most of us grew up with. So if you go to the page for the Brazil page, I will leave the link here and in the description. Just take a look at the ponies, because the first one you will see is Minty. Oh, the color. The color is so beautiful. Okay, I wasn't going to show you a picture, but I will add a picture because not everyone can go check the wiki. These are some of the colors, the tints that the ponies from Estrela have. I don't personally own any Brazilian ponies, but I will, and I want this one here. But also, since we are talking about Estrela, they not only had the ponies, they had, let me check, I'm checking this live. They made 38 ponies. 38 ponies, but they also made some plush ponies. These were the equivalent, supposedly, of the So Soft ponies, you know, the ones that have flocking. But they were actually plush. So here you can see what they look like and what they look like in their original packaging. I love that they're called fofinhos, which means like cutie ones or cute ones. And they remind me of something like my grandma would make for me. I love them. I also have lots of felt here. I'm looking at it right now. Should we make some fofinhos? If so, what fofinhos would you like to see? Let's do some that Brazil hasn't done. Oh, and oh my god. I was looking at the page, the wiki page, to make sure I was covering some of the information. And I just saw that it actually describes something that happened last year in the pony community that was a big, I don't know what to call it, not scandal, but a contentious issue, because there was someone in the Facebook groups that claimed to be the daughter of someone that worked for Estrela and had some prototypes, some Brazilian prototypes that nobody had seen before. And this is not impossible, because there are lots of ponies that we know exist but we don't have pictures of, like special edition ponies and prototypes and things like that. So I'll do a little summary, but if you're interested in hearing more about this sort of stories, I'll be happy to share more. I don't know, this is not going to become a commentary channel, don't worry. But I do enjoy things like this because they are like a mix of history and collecting and community. If you're someone that has been skipping sections and you arrive here right now all of a sudden, hey, hello, let's talk about fake Brazil prototypes. To keep up with the video, this is the retrobrighting part of the process. This is to remove any bacteria and marks and things like that. We use hydrogen peroxide and UV light. You can use the sun instead of UV light, but this is England. We don't have sun here. Okay, yeah, I'm teasing like this Brazilian prototype stuff way too much and it's not that fascinating. Well, it kind of is. So this happened about a year and a half ago. Someone named Helena said, as I mentioned very quickly, that she had some prototypes from the Estrela factory. And these prototypes were supposedly dye tested. So if you want to change the color of a pony now, like for a custom or for restorations, what you can do is put it in some dye, like fabric dye or synthetic dye, and it will get sort of a uniform color. If you are skilled enough. I am not, so I haven't done this for the channel, but it's something I definitely want to learn about. Sorry, right here, I forgot again to record when I put the pony in the chamber, but I did because you can see the difference here if you compare it to the image right in the corner. So you know this is a technique we use today, so it's not completely unexpected to think that maybe a factory was testing these techniques. It will be much cheaper than like mixing pigments in with vinyl. So this person put a bunch of ponies for sale. There were quite a few of them. They were very expensive. I mean, if there were actual prototypes, you would expect these prices, but we're talking like $700 and upwards, well upwards of that. And oh, sorry, I said before that her father was the one that supposedly worked for the factory. It was her grandfather, because he had brought some bags of ponies to the cousins that had not passed the quality control at the factory. And there were a lot of discussions around these ponies, people saying, well, they are dyed, how do we know they're actually prototypes? This person said, well, I have this little golden star that says Estrela, that is kind of proof that this person was working for the company, but then turns out that you could possibly find this little logo thing with a doll that the company made. There was a letter that wasn't entirely, I don't know, super authentic looking. I'm not saying these ponies are not prototypes, but there were some tests. Some people decided to buy the ponies, test them at home. They found that they were indeed dyed. Then the seller said, well, but you can't buy dye in Brazil. And everyone said, well, you can find other dyes. And the bottom line is there is a lot of back and forth. The general agreement, I think, is that this have not been added to the wiki because there is no proof that they're original prototypes. Are they? Are they not? Can we actually know? Would you pay £1,000, dollars for a pony like this? If you would, I think you can still find the listings because they are online. But yeah, purchase at your own risk. We don't know. The community doesn't know if they're real or not. If you want to know more about this type of stories, I can share like pictures, do a little timeline. I'm not sure. I don't want to like offend anyone, make anyone angry. There were also some like suspicious supposed email exchanges with Estrela, but there is no official branding. There has been no official answer, and these supposed letters have been removed from the listings. I don't want to feed into that. I just find this very, very interesting. At the same time, what we do know is that all the Argentinian processes and top toy processes are really well documented. So I will definitely share that because it's super interesting. So to close this, as I said, these ponies are still available, I think, on eBay, but eBay made the user change the name from prototype to variant. I mean, I'm from Argentina, as you may know, and we are talking about amounts of money that are life-changing in South America. So, if you think about motive and opportunity, there is motive, there is opportunity. Dyeing ponies is not difficult. Hasbro said it's been too long, they can't like say anything about it anymore. So yeah, I don't know. I thought it was an interesting thing to share about the Brazilian ponies. But this Gusty we are seeing now is an authentic Brazilian pony. You can see it in the hoofs, and there are lots of other beautiful ponies that come from Estrela. And now to close also the part about the Estrela factory and what Brazilian ponies look like. They are a tiny bit smaller than the other ones, and they have quite soft plastic. This Gusty is a baby, so it's not as soft, but they can be like a little blubbery. And they tend to have quite dry, fizzy hair that you can definitely see in this one. The last year that Estrela made ponies was 1988. They actually had some of their own designs that were doing quite well in the Brazilian market, and at the same time the pony sales were quite low, so they decided to stop paying the royalties to Hasbro and do their own thing. So for Brazilian ponies, year 8, so 1987-1998, were the last set of ponies. And the story is over, or is it? Because actually in 2011 Estrela made a little pony, but it wasn't an official My Little Pony, it was Baby Susie, or Baby Fakey Susie. And I will give you a few seconds to look at the body of this pony. Does it look familiar? The body is tiddlywinks, and the head is also heavily inspired by a Hasbro pony, is Baby Lofty. So yeah, Estrela played a little loosey-goosey with the rules. They did not have the rights to My Little Pony, but it was 2011, and you know, G1s were not the generation they once had been, and I guess Hasbro didn't care. So let's close this chapter for now. Please let me know if you want to hear more about this sort of thing, and let's go to the painting section. Alright, for the painting, I was actually gifted this new wonderful game color set by Golden Maple. You know, I normally use Vallejo paints. I have always used Vallejo for minis, but I wanted to try this other line because I heard it's really good quality, and actually I was very surprised because the paints were great and the brushes were amazing. So let me show you the brushes first so you get an idea of what miniature brushes kind of look like. What I have noticed during the past like 3 years, I think it is, making ponies, is that you can use any miniature brush to paint the details, and they tend to all perform kind of equally in my eyes, generally speaking. However, after you have used them a couple of times, the bad quality ones will start like breaking, the hairs will go everywhere and it will be chaos, and you will have to just open a new one. And I think that's the difference between the super cheap miniature brushes and the ones that are a bit better. This is, like I said, my personal opinion, very generalized, and whatever works for you, great, do it. But when it comes to paints, then I get a little more pedantic because paints are important, and there is a huge difference between the cheap acrylics and the good acrylics. I'm not sure how to describe this difference, but basically it's all about the amount of pigments and the quality of the pigments that are in the paint, because you're painting such tiny things with the ponies, like symbols, eyes, little things. Then you need an acrylic that has really good coverage. And what I noticed with the ones I was using before and with these Golden Maple ones I have now is that they are quite dense but also very smooth, so you can paint. I tend to do many layers. I don't recommend one thick layer. I don't always do this, but it's what I would recommend. Many layers require more patience, but many layers with water, always the best way to go. And with these paints, each layer will have enough body, so to say, that it will look great even though they are very thin. Does that make sense? I hope it makes sense. Now I have to explore the full range of paints. With the other ones I was using, there were like two main lines, like the normal acrylics and the ones for airbrush that were more watered down. I tend to like those more, but all you need to do is just mix in some water. Just make sure you mix both the paint and the water a lot and use just a little bit of water at a time, and you should get a very, very nicely covering result. Okay, I think I have said enough. Don't want to bore you, so let's transition to some music. I'm gonna use the nice quiet music I have been using for the last couple of videos from Upbeat that I really like, and then I will see you for the results, I think, unless I have some comments in the middle, but maybe. See you. Oh no, see you for that. See you soon. Oh, I do have a little self-advertising here. I am selling the tools for the ponies. I'm selling ponies for repair, like in kits with needles and punchers and everything you might need. So feel free to check my Etsy shop. You'll find everything in there. International delivery. Having said that, I only use one tool, my beloved tool I've had since the beginning of the channel. It's all broken and unpainted and I love it. But all the tools work, and also if you need hair, I also have hair. I have managed to find quite a few different colors, and I have nylon and acrylic. Nylon is softer, this is what we're using today, and acrylic is a bit harder but easier to work with. And the last thing, the book! Don't forget also, if you need instructions and things like that, feel free to check the book. Okay, that's it, sorry, bye bye. This week we have 3 amazing drawings shared on the Discord server. Thank you so much for everyone that takes the time to do channel art and share their creations and restorations. Please join us. And also, of course, thank you so much to all the patrons who support the channel and actually allow me to do things like this, where I do a pony for someone else and I can send it back to them, and it's not a commission, it's a gift. Please let me know if you also have a pony that needs help. And now, without further ado, let's see the results. So this is the before of the pony. Poor little Brazilian baby. It had plenty of love from Valentin, but it just needed a little bit of help here and there. So let's look at the after now. Ta-da! Here he is. I think, although you can't tell that well with the light, I think the color matching is not too bad. The mouth has a few issues that I would redo if I had more time, but I really want to send this back to Valentin because I was so bad at replying to his email and just doing this. It took me months. And he actually sent a second pony to the clinic that I will show you soon. We have quite a few ponies that need help. I will try to mix them in with some other projects I'm working on that I hope you enjoy. There should be a lot more coming soon. So if you're considering sending your pony, I will be very, very happy to help if I can, anywhere I can. You just need to give me a little time because I am still kind of working full time and doing this. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your comments and your beautiful art, and I will see you very soon for the next one. Have a great week. See you. Let me know what you think. Bye bye.